For every scene there is a perfect moment when the light hits the scene in just the right way, or when the clouds develop into something particularly special, or some other event that nature wants to throw at us, gives us the opportunity to create a great image. But those perfect moments are rare. Most of the time we have to make do with less than ideal conditions. And when that happens, well, that great image can be unattainable. But does every image have to be great? Or is there still value in the imperfect moments and the imperfect images that we create during them? That's what I want to talk about in this video. I hope you'll enjoy it. If you do, and you're new here, don't forget to hit subscribe before you go. Hi everyone, thank you for joining me. So, as I said in the intro, this video is about the imperfect images, the images that we take when the conditions don't go the way that we'd hoped maybe, and we have to make do. And at the time, and maybe even afterwards, we don't think of those images as being great. We maybe think of them as being good or okay or not bad, but we don't hold them up there as being the best of our best work. And there is a school of thought that says, well, if it's not the best of your best work, then why show it to anybody? You should be holding back and only showing people your best images. But I actually think there's value in these imperfect works. And I wanted to talk through, I think, 3 good reasons why you should be taking these imperfect images and sharing them and showing them to people. And the first reason comes down to one simple thing: personal taste. So we all know that personal taste plays a big part in what people think of as beautiful. And at the beginning of this video, when I talked about a scene having the perfect moment, that perfect moment might not be the same for one person as it is for another. Now, I might look at a scene and think the perfect moment is going to be with beautiful side lighting, warm tones, maybe scattered clouds picking up beautiful sunrise or sunset colour. But somebody else might look at that scene and think it looks best with dark dramatic clouds, maybe flat light, muted tones, desaturated. Now, if you're trying to sell your work, then putting out different kinds of images that don't necessarily fit exactly with your aesthetic sense, your sense of what's beautiful, may actually increase your chances of selling. And of course, if you're trying to promote yourself as a photographer or in some other way, then showing different kinds of images may attract other types of people to your work. So those images that you've shot in conditions that are not necessarily what you might have hoped for can be a very positive thing to share and let other people see. And I'll say now, some of the images that I've shot that I've been disappointed with, some of the images in fact that I've almost thrown away because I didn't really think they were going to be good enough, have actually proven to be some of my most popular. Not always, but sometimes. So I definitely think there's value in these imperfect images for that diversity of taste. But there's another reason as well, and that reason is all to do with personal creative development. So I personally think that as a photographer, I am on a continuous journey of creative self-improvement. From the day I picked up a camera to the day I put the camera down for the last time, I hope I am continuing to develop. In fact, if I ever stop developing, I will probably give up photography. And I think shooting in more challenging conditions, harsh light, flat light, grey skies, blue skies with the sun beating down with high contrast. All of those more difficult conditions make you think more about the creative process of photography. You have to work harder to make the composition work. You have to think creatively about your exposure, about the way you're going to treat the image from a colour point of view. There are all sorts of factors that come into play to make a decent image in less than ideal conditions. And that's a good thing, because it's stretching you, it's stretching me when I do it. And then when I do get those perfect conditions, that skill, that practice, that development comes into play and helps me make an even better image of that perfect moment. And that's another good reason to shoot and indeed share images that are not necessarily the best of the best that you do. Now, the subject of development is also in my third reason, but not my own development, but the development, the encouragement, the inspiration, the education of other photographers, new photographers, photographers who want to grow and do more than they are currently doing. I remember when I got started back in landscape photography after a long time of doing other stuff, and I was looking for inspiration, I was looking for education, and I read a lot of books, I read lots of magazines, and I got completely discouraged, completely, because every image I was seeing was perfect. It was fantastic, beautiful colours, stunning light. And I would go out, and I'd go out as often as I could, and I would take loads of pictures, and none of them came close to what I was seeing in those magazines and in those books. And it was only later that I realised the truth. The images I was seeing, the images that I was comparing my work to, were the very best images from the very best selections from some of the very best photographers. It was completely unrealistic for me to expect to be achieving those, because even the photographers that had taken those images might only get, 1 or 2 or 3 images of that quality in months, maybe even in years. But it set an unrealistic expectation for me. And I think it's a good idea to share work that, I'm not talking about sharing work which is rubbish, which really hasn't worked, but images that are, as I said, imperfect, so that other photographers, newer photographers, developing photographers have a more reasonable expectation of what they can actually get and what they can achieve. So that's it, that's my opinion on the topic, and that's the reason why I am going to continue to share my work, even though I know that not every image I share is great, because I don't think that every image I put out there has to be great. It just has to have some appeal to it that I think makes it worth putting out there for people to have a look at. Now, you may agree with me, you may disagree. In fact, I would love to know what you think about this topic. Leave me a comment down below. If you've liked this video, even if you've disagreed with it, then don't forget to click that thumbs up and give it a like. You can share it on social media so that other people can get to hear what I think about it and maybe throw in their own opinions as well. And if you like landscape photography videos and you think you might like my stuff, don't forget to hit subscribe before you go. As always, I really appreciate you taking the time to watch and listen to me ramble on. Until the next video, thank you very much. Bye.